Tom Silva has been keeping this ancient home together for more than 40 years. Sleeves rolled up, tool belt on, work, no show. He finally talked about the moments that most viewers missed. Nevertheless, at the age of 77, there were times when he almost left the show completely. And don't assume it's just another hint at retirement. Tom's revelation wasn't made only to attract media attention. It was a reflection of all the things he had endured, not only in the building process, but also in the backstage areas, where conditions haven't always been as flawless as the remodeled houses we've seen him construct. Years have passed since Tom almost left, not because he felt worn out or finished. Not at all. The reason for this was because the show's creative direction had begun to deviate from the realities of the set. The production schedule, the ongoing camera angle modifications, and the pressure to appear good rather than be good, all of it ran against to his beliefs. So he wrote a letter of resignation in secret. Even though he never turned it in, it was genuine enough that he and his family took the idea of leaving this ancient house seriously. What was different? The program paid attention. He didn't act out or seek attention. They allowed him the room he needed to construct things correctly. At that point, Tom's function changed from being only the contractor to becoming a key figure in the real operation of the program. And there was weight in that voice. However, not all of the difficulties were related to production politics. The show had a devastating loss in 2018. While going for a shoot, Austin Wilson, a young crew member whom Tom had personally coached and recruited to the squad, passed quite unexpectedly. It wasn't only a team defeat for Tom. It was intimate. Austin was more than simply a coworker. He was like family. Tom thought about leaving entirely since the grief was so great. But eventually, with the help of Austin's family and the crew, he returned. He felt obligated to continue, not because he had to, but because he owed it to the team, the audience, and perhaps even to himself. Tom has always stood out for his sense of duty. Building for the camera is not his style. He enjoys building because it's his passion. The audience trusts him because of his sincerity and dedication to doing things well. Additionally, it explains why the crew and the audience resisted when producers tried to bring in younger, more flamboyant faces. The man who taught them how to measure for a replacement window and hang siding was someone they didn't want to lose. They desired the steady presence, the person who always had the answers yet never sought attention. Tom gradually assumed progressively more behind-the-scenes responsibilities. He was mentoring the next generation, establishing technical standards, and assisting in project selection in addition to being a hammer swinger. Charlie Silva, his nephew, found his spot on the show in this way. He was not given a role by Tom. He made sure he was prepared by first testing him on minor jobs. Like everything Tom does, it was a discreet handoff based on competence and trust. Even at the age of 77, he continues to work hard, inspecting framing, walking project sites, and ensuring that the work satisfies the standards he has upheld throughout his life. He is not after fame. This isn't a goodbye tour for him. It matters, which is why he is doing it, because the task is still important. And to be honest, that type of commitment is uncommon in a world full of shortcuts and quick fixes. Let's go on. Tom Silva is more than simply the man you see on TV, wielding a hammer. He has essentially served as the foundation for all of the significant renovations this historic home has undergone over the years. And by major, we mean projects that call for structural choices, blueprint-level thinking, and the kind of backstage juggling act that would put most individuals in retirement. Tom has been in charge of everything from choosing the appropriate materials and engineering and design advising to ensuring that everything functions on TV without, breaking down in the middle. Even if his title isn't very noteworthy, the team is aware of who is in charge. It's the flannel-clad man holding a game plan in one hand and a tape measure in the other. From Bob Va to Steve Thomas and now Kevin O'Connor, the host has changed frequently throughout the years. But Tom has been the one constant. He simply keeps working, keeps turning up, and somehow never rusts, just like your favorite old tool. Over time, he evolved from a contractor to a man who ensures that everything runs well, both professionally and practically. It became evident that Tom was more than simply a member of the team. He was the glue when Norm Abrams left in 2022. He was not just retained by the producers. He was asked to oversee the builds, arrange the season schedule, and assist in shaping the projects. People simply say, "Okay, yeah, you're in charge," after you've been doing something correctly for this long. Now, if you've watched any of the Brookline, Westford, or Ridgewood seasons, from 2021 to 2025, You can probably bet that Tom's fingerprints were all over them, not only in woodworking but also in project planning, safety setup, and even ensuring that the crew's equipment could handle HD cameras and sawdust. Additionally, Tom had the unique power to choose his own successor, unlike most others on set. He didn't decide on that in a week, of course, not at all. As expected, he started by testing the waters. His nephew, Charlie Silva, began with quieter positions and slower projects before Tom progressively elevated him to the position of main builder after he had established himself. Silva style: nothing ostentatious, no family favors, simply earned respect. Tom, however, didn't end with Charlie. He has also been the go-to person for other experts, such as Heath with electrical work, Jen with landscaping, and Mororo with finishing. Basically, Tom has most likely checked it twice if it plugs in, sprouts roots, or requires a second coat. He has also taken on even more since 2020, assisting with the training of the upcoming generation of skilled workers by collaborating with nearby trade schools and this Old House's Generation Next initiative. He attends forums, serves on advisory boards, and yet finds time to demonstrate tools to children who are still learning the difference between a lunchbox and a level. It's crazy that in a world when television shows frequently replace cast members like socks, Tom remained consistent, observant, and in high demand. According to PBS polls, he is one of the network's most adored personalities, particularly among devoted viewers who have been following since the days of disco. But nostalgia isn't the only factor in his attraction. It's that uncommon combination of expertise, endurance, and the capacity to describe intricate tasks without ever coming across as boastful. That alone is a skill. Tom Silva and his brother were just two guys with a toolbox, high standards, and no tolerance for careless shortcuts until they were featured on national television as the faces of workmanship. Their business, Silva Brothers Construction, did not become well known by following trends or making quick repairs. They constructed their name in the same manner that they construct homes, squared up, level and sturdy. After a while, several really important people noticed their meticulous work and trusted them to build the Victory Garden set, including WGBH-TV. Yes, exactly. Tom was establishing the groundwork for one of the most enduring careers in instructional television, while other contractors were busy repairing decks. As it happened, the employment was more than simply another job. Producer Russell Morash became aware of Tom as a result, and before you could ask, "Where's my level?" he was asked to assist with this old house, a brand new small experiment. Tom joined a Greek revival remodeling project in Dorchester, Massachusetts, as a subcontractor. People quickly discovered, however, that this was more than just a man with hammer skills. He had the unique ability to make difficult tasks seem simple and difficult solutions seem like common sense. He was formally confirmed as the show's long-term contractor in 1988. Since then, nobody has even considered taking his place. In a world that seldom stays the same, Tom established himself as a constant over the ensuing 4 decades. Hairlines faded, hosts came and went, and tool technology evolved. But Tom was always there, handling difficult project after difficult assignment, with his characteristic steady hand and no-nonsense demeanor. His fingerprints can be seen on hundreds of PBS renovations. He wasn't just creating buildings, he was conserving legacies, one beam at a time, whether they were large historic restorations or charming colonial dwellings. At Weatherby Farm in Westwood in the late 90s, he faced one of his most remarkable trials. Imagine an old, timber-framed house with a sloping roof that seems ready to give way with a deep breath. Tom and his group needed to figure out how to strengthen the building without sacrificing its historic appeal. Similar to doing orthopedic surgery while maintaining the patient's runway appearance. Naturally, he succeeded because Tom takes out his pencil and begins to sketch ideas when others are in a frenzy. But his impact extends well beyond the workplace. Additionally, Tom has spent years transforming his practical knowledge into something that people can utilize. He frequently answers questions from readers who have likely taken on more drywall than they can handle for this Old House magazine. His guidance is clear-cut, useful, and refreshingly devoid of technical terms. He seems to write with clarity, substance, and just the appropriate amount of encouragement. Additionally, his art was used in classrooms. Honestly, if Tom says this is how you install crown molding, then that's how it's done. That's why trade schools all across New England use his advice, methods, and how to breakdowns as teaching resources. He co-wrote The Homeowner's Manual and Complete Remodeling in 2004, alongside the coffee-stained plans, and the bag of screws they promise to sort someday are two books they proudly display on the shelf of every serious do-it-yourselfer. It took more than just stepping onto a set for Tom Silva to become well known. He merited it. One production meeting, one project, one column, and one difficult discussion at a time. He used talent, patience, and no shortcuts to develop his profession like he would a building, brick by brick. He is still working on the job site at the age of 77. He is because he wants to be, not because he must. No big exit, no retirement announcements, just another day, doing what he loves, giving others confidence boosts, and likely leaving some younger guys wondering how he still gets around them. To be honest, you most likely believe that Tom Silva was going to hang up his tools and retire. Give up thinking. Silva essentially stated, "No, I'm still in an interview with internal production earlier this year, confirming that he will remain on the show for upcoming seasons. Yes, we are still working on those huge rehabilitation projects in Ridgewood and Westford." The man transforms expectations rather than just houses. Hold on though, things will improve. Behind the scenes at Silva Brothers Construction, he has been silently pulling strings. As you watch him wielding hammers and dropping wisdom like it's drywall, he maintained strategic control over the company's long-term choices from 2022 to 2024, even as he handed over management to his nephew Charlie, who is presumably still double-checking everything before presenting it to Tom. Tom might have taken a break from his daily routine. Don't be misled though, he still attends strategy meetings, makes the final decision on high-stakes, top-secret projects, and selects technical crews as if he were casting a heist film. Charlie, don't put any strain on yourself. You believe that he no longer made the important decisions. Please guess whose opinion still matters when it comes to allocating resources, upgrading equipment, or deciding whether to purchase that shiny new excavator. Tom's, as a senior advisor and a master of translation. Without having to deal with paperwork or chase down invoices, he can continue doing the interesting things. We refer to that as a win-win. Oh, and in addition to creating homes, he is also developing the business. Tom is the go-to person for several Massachusetts trade associations. Because who does the Northeast Regional Council for Building and Remodeling call when they need to increase training or safety standards? Ghostbusters? No. Silva is called. The man contributed to the development of a technology database for independent contractors. In other words, if you're in Massachusetts and you're holding a nail gun, chances are Silva has helped write your how-to manual. And you know what? Some of the modifications made to Boston's post-COVID building codes, Tom also influenced those. He is literally altering the rules rather than merely keeping up. How is he managing all of this at the age of 77? Organized chaos, in 2 words. All right, perhaps 3 more. Knowledge, insight, and coffee. With his career spanning production, engineering, mentoring, and consulting, Tom has a great setup. It resembles a leadership seminar combined with a remodeling show and a think tank. In essence, he has figured out how veterans can continue to contribute without experiencing burnout. Additionally, Tom, the magician, has always been a really private person. Just him and Susan, his wife since the late 70s, and their comfortable 19th century home in the Boston suburbs. No gaudy red carpets or sensational headlines. It feels right, to be honest. While others strive for celebrity, Tom has been subtly creating a more solid legacy. Does Tom Silva appear to be slowing down? Only if you consider going between projects to be a slowdown. The man still has designs on his mind and sawdust in his veins. We wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. There is more to Tom Silva's home than just his residence. It's a loving labor. He and his family have been gradually renovating it over the years, transforming it into a kind of silent masterpiece. It's the type of home you see in this vintage home magazine. Not because it's ostentatious, but rather because it's well thought out, thoughtful, and heartfelt. Although one may think that his children, Kate and TJ, would follow in his tool-belted footsteps, they have chosen to go in a different direction. Although they don't work in construction or television, they are right there in the background, assisting the family firm when it needs it, particularly in the media or financial industries. It turns out that Tom's house is a tangible representation of his entire work philosophy. Always construct with a purpose, enhance what makes sense, and preserve what counts. That's precisely why the Massachusetts Council on Historic Preservation invited him to speak at a symposium on historic renovation. He talked about how he tackled his personal remodeling, emphasizing sustainability, preserving the home's original character, and maximizing available space. It was more than a simple makeover. It was a deliberate reimagining. The project was so successful that it is now formally recognized as a model of properly executed non-commercial restoration in the state's architectural archives. The problem with Tom, though, is this: he doesn't look for attention. He is renowned for maintaining the privacy of his personal life while concentrating his public activities on craftsmanship and education. One of the reasons people appreciate him so much is that, according to his staff, he's the one who says, "Let's keep it about the work, not about me." This has been the rule since 2005. He has no desire in becoming famous. All he wants is to work hard and support others in doing the same. Tom is also subtly engaged on a very significant project behind the scenes. He collaborates with charitable organizations that teach occupational skills to youth, particularly those from underprivileged backgrounds. Although he isn't making a big deal out of it on social media or giving interviews about it, his name is mentioned as a professional consultant in their annual reports. What precisely does he do? A bit of everything: examining training materials, assisting them in determining what equipment they require, and occasionally even physically visiting them to demonstrate methods. Tom is more than just a famous builder in the trades world. He is a voice of reason, a mentor, and an example. His guidelines are today regarded as the gold standard for responsible, safe, and effective construction. And that's what makes Tom Silva unique. He does more than just construct homes. Silently, steadily, and always with integrity, he is contributing to the construction of futures. It's quite remarkable when you consider it. Some technical high schools in Massachusetts now really include Tom Silva's work in their curricula. Using his projects as case studies, students study snippets of this old house to learn how to build. His work has gained that level of credibility. It's classroom-worthy as well as TV-worthy. And this is what truly sets Tom apart. He has never made an effort to gain notoriety. You won't see him doing power tool advertisements or at glamorous home expos. He isn't attempting to build his identity into a brand or pursue endorsement arrangements. It's a deliberate decision. In order to concentrate on the task and the people who perform it, he has always said no to the noise. Isn't that uncommon these days? Tom Silva is still out there constructing homes, instructing people, and remaining loyal to his profession during a time when everyone is attempting to get popularity or go viral. He is evidence that you may have a significant impact without being noisy. He is not only respected, but also admired for his calm consistency and profound integrity. For decades, he has been the one who always shows there, completes tasks correctly, and never takes short routes. When tradespeople see Tom, they see more than simply a skilled builder. They perceive someone who is a living example of pride in one's work. Someone who knows that why you do something a certain manner is just as important as how you do it. So yes, Tom Silva endures even while trends change. A strong presence, a genuine craftsman, and, to be honest, a reminder that doing things correctly still matters in a society where shortcuts are the norm. You already know why people like Tom are worthy of celebration. If you have ever enjoyed the scent of sawdust, the sound of a hammer striking precisely, or the satisfaction of a job well done, and perhaps share this type of story if it resonates with you, because often the quiet ones leave the biggest legacy. Share it with someone who understands the importance of good work and good people.